We have UFC star Joe Lauzon, Massachusetts native, on the phone here with us. Hello, Joe. How you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you?
We're doing awesome, Joe. Thanks so much for calling in to us.
No problem.
All right, Joe. Let me ask you right off the bat. You got a fight coming up on June 26th against Englishman Kurt Warburton. How is your training going?
Training's good. I mean, normal, bumps and bruises and all that kind of stuff. But overall, feeling pretty good. Nothing major. So knock on wood.
Your opponent only has 2 UFC fights under his belt, so he may be a little unknown to some of our fans out there. Talk to us about Kurt Warburton's style and the type of fight you can expect him to bring to you.
I saw him on the video pretty well, and I really didn't know too much about him to begin with either. He's 1-1 in UFC. He lost a decision to Spencer Fisher, and then he beat some other guy whose name I can't say, Jamal Muslim something. So he seems to be more of a kickboxer than anything. Really tall. I think he's like 6'1", which is pretty tall for a 55er. It seems that more of a Muay Thai kickboxer. So a lot of kicks. Seems to have pretty good jiu-jitsu. Like all the UK guys, doesn't have very good wrestling. It doesn't seem. So we're expecting a pretty good fight.
All right. Well, you even said, Joe, you got a little, bumps and bruises and whatnot that come along in training. Let me ask you, in light of the rash of injuries that the UFC's been hit with recently, most of which that do occur during training, have you thought about toning it down? Toning down the intensity with a fight coming up, or do you look at the injuries that happen as just kind of like a fluke thing and just go about training business as usual?
I think it's kind of a fine line between training hard and getting in good shape, and getting in those, you don't want to leave your best fight in the gym, but you do have to go to war a little bit in the gym. So it's kind of a fine line to get a walk. For the most part, like we segment my training. So I do a lot of straight up boxing. I do a lot of straight up grappling. And then I do MMA a couple times a week, because if I try and do MMA every day of the week, I just get so beat up that I'm a walking injury. But it seems to, if by segmenting it and breaking it up, if my ankles bother me a little bit, or my knee or something like that, I can usually box and it doesn't bother too much. Or, if my hands bother me, I can grapple and, things like that. So it kind of, it definitely is, becoming a bigger and bigger issue all the time with guys getting hurt. I feel like everyone's just getting, be better athletes and really, pushing the limits of what we can do, and it's tough. It's just something we got to deal with, though.
Yeah. Let's talk about your last fight, Joe. And your last fight, you came up short against George Soteropoulos. And after what was an exciting back and forth first round, you appeared to tire a bit when you came out in the second round. Was that the case? And if it was, what would you attribute that to?
I felt good. I felt really good at the end of the first. I thought that I was all over him, in the first round. And then, I went to my corner, sat in the stool, felt good. I felt like I got my breath back and things like that. And then when I went to step off the stool, my legs felt like concrete. And, I've never really, I've had tired legs before, but I've never experienced something like this, it was real bad. I'm not really sure what it was. It could have been an adrenaline dump, but I don't know. I don't know if, I did an IV after the weigh-ins. I don't know if I took in the IV too fast, or if there's something there or what, but I felt awful. I've trained really hard. I've done, shark bait rounds, been really tired before, done, 10 fives. And, and in the gym it's obviously different, but I've never felt the way I did after 1-5. It was just, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, you didn't look yourself in the second round of that fight there, Joe. Let me ask you this. I mean, you're an intelligent guy for people who don't know. Joe Lauzon actually has a bachelor's degree in computer science. What made you want to fight for a living?
I kind of fell into it by accident. I started training when I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, and I started doing, wrestling and, signing up for grappling tournaments and stuff like that. And, I was just having fun with it. And then, one of my buddies started, he took an amateur fight, so I helped him train. I was going through all the same stuff he was. So then I took an amateur fight, and, I took a pro fight, and it just kind of snowballed on me. And, I never really saw it as a viable option to make it a full-time thing. I was going to school, and, I was focusing on, all the computer science stuff, and I got a call for the UFC in, my last semester of school. And I'm like, it really wasn't a lot of money. I think it was like 3 and 3 or something, $3,000 a show, $3,000 more to win. So, it's not something you go and quit your job over. but it was kind of the first sign that, well, maybe I can do something with this. And then, I kept my job. I was working. I finished up, and then I went on the Ultimate Fighter. Still kept my job, and then when I won on the finale, then I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give this fighting thing a full-time go. I went to Hawaii for a little bit, and I haven't looked back. I think I quit my job in like 2007, I think, and I haven't worked since. So, it's working out for me.
It's been, I was gonna say, it's been a good career move for you, Joe. I was gonna ask you about your time on the show. You got to train with one of the best fighters of all time in BJ Penn when you're actually on the Ultimate Fighter show. How pivotal was that experience as far as your growth as an MMA fighter?
Oh, it was the best. My team was a little bit like, first of all, I went on the Ultimate Fighter because BJ was going to be one of the coaches. He was the reason that I went on. And, and to, have him as a coach. And my team was pretty fragmented. Like, we started with 8 guys. Late in the season, we were down to 4. Just from, a couple guys got in fights in the house. One guy got kicked off making weight. And then a guy got kicked to the other team because he wasn't, training the way the coaches wanted. And the guys that were left on my team didn't, they all kind of wanted to, march to their own drum, and they really didn't want to be coached. They just wanted to do their own thing. So I was super fortunate. I had BJ Penn, his brother Reagan, Tony D'Souza, Rudy Valentino. And I had BJ and all his coaches 100% working with me. So, really, it was, rather than, there being 8 guys, fighting for the attention of 4 coaches, I was one guy who had full attention of all 4 guys. So it was awesome. I made such huge jumps. Just training with guys like that, and I went to Hawaii, and it was the same thing. Every time I get together with BJ, I feel like my game jumps a ton.
Awesome. Yeah, that must be awesome being able to train with BJ Penn. But, this is a big sports area here in Massachusetts, Joe. MMA is as popular here as it is anywhere else in the country, and you had the opportunity to perform in front of the home crowd at UFC 118 in Boston. You got a thunderous, tremendous ovation there, and you went on to have arguably your best performance of your career when you totally dominated Gabe Rudiger and earned submission of the night. What was that experience like, and would you consider that the highlight of your career?
Definitely the highlight of my career. I think that a lot of people remember me for the Pulver fight, because they weren't giving me a whole lot of chance, and I came in and knocked out the former champ and all this other stuff. But for me, it's definitely the Rudiger fight. Getting a fight in Boston in front of my, all my friends and family, and back at home and things like that. I got I ordered, through the UFC 600 tickets. And sold all the tickets, to friends and family like that. So it was just crazy, having that much support. You always hear about, I could feel the crowd, things like that. And I always thought it was crap until, it was happening for me, in Boston, at home, with that many people that, screaming their head off. And it wasn't just people that happened to be fans of me. It was like everyone else hated Gabe, too. They didn't like me that much. They disliked Gabe. So, I got all them, too. So it was pretty insane.
Yeah, that was a great performance showing that fight. Talk to us about your school, Joe. You have your own MMA school right here in Bridgewater, right up the road here in Route 24. How is everything going at the school? And if our listeners want to find out more about your school, how would they go about it?
The website for my school is LauzonMMA.com. We have all the information up on there. Anyone that's thinking about training or anything like that, we do a first month free. So you can come in and train for 30 days, and you don't have to commit to anything. Just come in and train. Sign a waiver, and and that way we do that because that way people can really decide if it's for them or not. Because some people just don't like training. They don't like wrestling around with people. Or they just don't like getting tired or whatever. So we do a first month free, so they know what they're getting involved with before they even sign up.
Awesome.
The school is doing pretty well. We always get real slow right around this time of year because we have a lot of college students, so they all go home for the summer. So we're a little bit quiet right now, but it's good.
Awesome, Joe. According, assuming all goes according to plan, Joe, and you do beat Kurt Warburton, who would you like to face next? Is there any fight out there that you've been looking for that you haven't had yet?
Things change up, so much from fight card to fight card. I really don't think about it too much. I'm going to fight next month, and then it'll probably be a couple more months before I fight again. There's going to be so many fights that are going to take place in the meantime. So I really don't get too worried about it. I just, I'll take it as it goes. No matter who they want me to fight, we'll come up with a game plan. We'll figure out what we want to do. We'll come up with a training strategy, and we'll implement and we'll carry it out. So, it doesn't really matter to me who they want me to fight. I'm ready for whoever.
Awesome, Joe. And I got to ask you, because we ask all our guests that call in, if the super fight does take place between GSP and Anderson Silva, who would the betting man Joe Lauzon take in that fight?
I would have to put my money on GSP.
GSP.
Good man.
I always say that I feel like the wrestling is by far the most important aspect of fighting, because if two guys fight, whoever has the better wrestling is going to dictate where the fight is. So if that guy has an advantage either on the ground or up on his feet, his wrestling is going to dictate it and keep the fight where he has the best chance. And I just feel like Anderson Silva is phenomenal on his feet, but I think that St. Pierre's ability to put him down and stay safe and things like that. Chael Sonnen was all over him for 4.5 rounds and then got caught. I think St. Pierre would get caught. I think that he would have stayed safer, and I think he'd follow a perfect game plan, and I think that's really one of his biggest strengths. Anderson's been taken down by a couple guys, good wrestlers, but if Travis Lutter took him down and a couple other guys had taken him down, without a ton of trouble, then I definitely think St. Pierre would take him down.
Awesome, Joe. Well, before we let you go, Joe, is there anybody you want to say hello to? You want to give any shout-outs to anybody?
No, just thanks to all the fans. Thanks everyone for listening, and check out my fight next month.
Awesome, Joe. Well, thanks so much for calling in. As always, one of the classiest guys in the UFC, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Lauzon. Thanks for calling in, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
All right, take care, Joe.